Hey, badass. If you've ever found yourself thinking, I know what to say, so why am I hesitating? Or why do sales feel harder than they should? Then this is for you. I created the Manifesting Sales Success guided meditation because I kept seeing incredible business owners like you get stuck, not because they lacked skill, but because their mindset wasn't aligned before the conversation ever started. This is an 8-minute guided meditation designed specifically for network marketers and direct sellers. And here's the key: when you listen daily, it helps you show up more confident, more grounded, and more decisive in your sales conversations. I've seen the results firsthand. One client listened to it right before a call and ended up closing a $20,000 contract. Another committed to listening daily and added $1,000 in sales volume in under a month. Another seasoned sales leader told me he simply feels more confident selling after listening a few times a week. This isn't fluff. It's a tool you use every day to train your brain for success before you ever open your mouth. If you're ready to stop overthinking, stop avoiding follow up, and start showing up like the confident badass that you are, grab it now. You can go to the link in the show notes or go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com /manifesting sales success guided meditation. I might have to shorten that sometime, but for now, that's what it is. Badassdirectsalesmastery.com and or sign up on the pop-up. It's right there on the front page. And then make sure you hit play daily and just watch what happens next.
Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rock star direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jennie will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger.
Welcome back to another episode of Badass Direct Sales Mastery. I'm your host, your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger, helping you whip your business into shape. And today's guest is a powerhouse blend of scrubs and sass. Farrah Woodall is a registered nurse who has spent years on the front lines of inpatient hospital care, taking care of the sick when things have already gone sideways. But Farrah didn't stop there. Her passion for natural and holistic health led her to build a wellness business focused on helping people feel their absolute best before sickness starts calling the shots. She specializes in organic CBD, functional mushrooms, blood type specific nutrition, cellular detoxing, and full body balance, and more, all done naturally and intentionally. Farrah is on a mission to empower people to take ownership of their health instead of waiting for a diagnosis to dictate it. So get ready, because this conversation about proactive wellness with purpose. Welcome to the show, Farrah.
Thank you. That was great.
I'm so glad you enjoyed that. Well, I am super glad that you are here because you've got quite a long history in the world of health and wellness and even being an esthetician as well. So can you tell us how you got to where you are today? Give us a little bit about your backstory.
Sure. Well, it all started when I was young. I grew up on a farm, Jenny, and I was out with the animals. I was out with nature. And really, what benefited me was the elders that I was raised with. They lived off of the earth, the salt of the earth type people. So we grew our own food. We managed livestock and canned and just really didn't rely on the mainstream constructs that most people do today. And so I became a registered nurse when I was young. I was 21, late 90s. I was all about conventional medicine. But then the roots that I came from crept back in. And I started noticing more in just my experience, it's more symptom management. And I identify more with the root cause of the naturopath, physicians, and functional medicine and chiropractors and things. Although I stayed in the bedside nursing because I really enjoy caring for humans.
Hmm.
It's a passion, it's a purpose. And I've been privileged enough to actually give little tidbits of advice in a natural way to sort of help combat. I do believe in Western medicine. I've seen a lot of miracles, acute medicine, emergency medicine, surgeries. But for long term health, you really can preserve your body, detox it to where it functions better, is not overloaded, and
Hmm.
then you feel better and all of your aspects just function and when you have good health.
Yeah.
I'm more into well care than sick care.
But
So,
I think that is absolutely a way for people to really, because when you're in charge of that kind of stuff, then it shows that you are taking yourself seriously, taking your business seriously, right? Because if you are your business, you've got to take care of you, right? So by being proactive in care rather than dealing with reactive care, which is what a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of Western medicine is more reactive than proactive, or at least that's the way it's existing right now at the time of this recording. We'll put it that way. I'm open it to it switching, right? So, Farah, some of the companies that you've aligned yourself with that help with this are in the world of network marketing and direct sales. It Was this something that you've always been a part of, or has this been a recent addition to what you've been doing?
it's something I've always been a part of for many years. I've been an independent entrepreneur outside of the hospitals. Now, for 20 years, I worked at a regional trauma center in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a 1,000-bed hospital.
Oh,
And I worked
wow.
with premature babies. And so I worked in the neonatal intensive care for 20 of my 28 years this year. I can't believe it.
Wow.
But then I worked in a pre and post op general surgery and endoscopy unit. And right now, I do still currently work as an active registered nurse in Florida. I'm a concierge home IVIG infusion nurse. So I go into people's homes and start IVs. And that
Okay.
is more immune globulin therapy. It's called biologicals.
Okay.
But what I've always done, if you will, some people call it a side hustle. I absolutely do not because I understand the business, the business organizations. And I feel the direct sales and network marketing, the sky is the limit. The glass ceiling is not even there.
Hmm.
There's, I feel it's a reverse in our corporations, unless you go through a lot of schooling and get all of these certifications to be the CEO of a big corporation, which most of us don't really want to do, I feel personally, then, Robert Kiyosaki, a rich man, rich dad, poor dad, excuse me, do you want to always continuously trade your time for a finite amount of money? Or do you want to build a legacy, which is what I want to do for my children as a single mother? I'm into several businesses where it's up to me how much time I put in, but I also work with other business owners and individuals and leverage. And it's so fun to do.
That's good. So, in adding the network marketing side to your business, what has been your biggest challenge that you have encountered in adding this in?
The biggest challenge for me is that I want to do it full time.
Mm,
And so, it really takes time to authentically build your own brand and have a good solid foundation with relationships and connections. You just can't fly in and expect to, on your first day. And some people I think have unrealistic goals, but my why is it's a very altruistic one for the people that I serve and for my family. So, the sustainability, life is a journey to me. There is not a destination. And so I learn every day. I do put myself out there. So, to answer your question more specifically, is time.
mhm.
I still work as a nurse. I take care of two 12-year-olds and a 13-year-old all by myself for the past 11 years. My business this year is 6 years old. So, I've steady gone with the flow of everything. But we've also been in 3 states. So during the pandemic, I quit the hospital because the bureaucracy of it, I just said no to it. And
Mhm.
I worked in the ICU with all of the pandemic stuff. And I had just graduated as an esthetician. So I just do what I feel is fun and right at the time. So I personally, I cashed out my 401k. I gave me a little buffer. I had to be there for my children. There was no other choice going through that. And so from scratch, I did 10 market comparisons and started my aesthetic menu. So I did microdermabrasions and I did microblading, tattoo eyebrows, body waxing. But Jenny, what I did with that is nursing will never leave me. And so I bridged beauty only perceived services with why they're actually medically necessary. They remove toxins, they get your lymph moving. When you remove the dead skin from the surface of all areas of your integumentary system, it functions better. Your skin can breathe, and so that's kind of what curated the detoxing part of my business. I personally used the blood type specific diet 25 years ago to lose 40 pounds. It really works. When my children were born, I made all 3 of their baby foods or all 3 of them custom made according to their blood group. I've studied the herb book by John Lust for the detoxing herbs. Each one specifically I've studied individually, so I can tell you how medicinally they work for you. The ionized foot bath I performed in my aesthetic studio for people, and just educate why these easy modalities can really help you feel better and lessen the toxin load that we're carrying around. But that space was infested with mold.
Oh,
So
no.
everything in there I had to personally take to the dumpster. It really wiped out my aesthetics business. But because I believe that life just shows you different things in these kind of manners, I wasn't mad about it, honestly. I just said, okay, it must be time to pivot. So I rebranded my business because in the meantime, I had become a cannabis nurse and advanced CBD certified. So I offered a vegan skincare, taught people how your skin absorbed everything. One of the greatest demonstrations, I put a garlic clove between people's toes and told them to tell me what happened, and they could taste it in 3 minutes generally. But after the mold and everything, I really was focused on. So I offer a really great brand of transparent organic CBD functional mushrooms and hemp seltzers. But with my certifications, again, I read medical journal articles about the actual physiological benefits of these compounds. And so I'm not just out there selling CBD, I teach people and consult them why it works, how it works. And then I really truly listen at what ailments they have and what their goals are. And so then I can just customize and I work along with them because consistency is key. But to leverage, I work with other businesses. So, for instance, with the CBD, for example, the pain cream,
Mhm.
I can pair up with a chiropractor's office, just that one singular product, and show them how their customers, they not only could use it, but there is a wholesale to retail markup and they ship nationwide, and the chiropractor, the business owner would get the commission. So that's what I do with the Chamber of Commerce, and I belong to BNI. So I
Okay.
work more businessy with other businesses, but I love working individually with other people who want to feel better.
Okay. Well, let's dig into that a little bit because, you're in network marketing and, the badass crew, as they have named themselves, have heard me say multiple times over the years that, it's network marketing, which means 50% of your job is networking, 50% of it is marketing, right? So you are active in 2 different areas to help you network. How are you leveraging the chamber and your BNI relationships in order to build your business?
So I'm a connector type person. I always have been. It's just been one of my niches. And so I listen and I can compartmentalize what others need as far as referrals or suggestions. Oh, wait, that person could really use you. And then I connect. For my ribbon cutting through the chamber, because I just recently moved to Florida. Well, it's been last June. It doesn't seem so recent anymore. Time goes by fast. But for my official ribbon cutting, I also scheduled it to be my BNI feature spotlight member presentation. And so the chamber master was all about that. He was like, see, this is how you network. Like you advertise yourself and you connect people and you really put yourself out into the community. So that was a lot of fun.
Oh, I love that. So you then correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't think I had heard you talk about this before. So did you just invite everyone from the chamber for your BNI ribbon cutting presentation then?
So the ribbon cutting was actually through the Northport Chamber of Commerce, like
Okay.
official, like you take this big giant pair of scissors and they
Right.
hold a ribbon and you cut it to introduce. I had already been involved in a lot of committees and but it was just my official,
Sure.
reveal. And then through BNI, I just scheduled it at the same time, the same date as the feature member spotlight. Yeah, everybody was loving that. I was like, meet everybody.
That's so smart. I wish more people would make those connections if they're in both spaces. Why not bring both networks together to show how many people you know and how many people, because really networking is all about influence, right? How well can you influence others to connect with each other, to have conversations, to take that next step that maybe, they should work together because one of them is a great client for the other, or maybe they're great collaboration partners, right? So I think that is so, so smart on your part to really bring all those people into one room. And then, you get the kudos from both your president and probably also from the chamber, like you said, from the chamber director on that. And that's super cool. So for you, because I know there's a lot of people who ask questions about, how BNI maybe has helped somebody's business in particular, what would you say has been your biggest benefit that you've received from being in something like BNI?
Thank you for asking because BNI, the world headquarters are in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I grew up seeing BNI everywhere, but at that particular time, I just wasn't in the mind space. I knew what it was, and I had been in women networking groups. Like I've always promoted and wanted to find like minded people. But moving to Florida is a little bit of a different game changer, I feel. And so when I moved here, somebody said, you should get into BNI. There's a lot of chapters here. And I said, okay, I've heard of it and I know what it is. But that's a vested membership
Yeah.
and it's a professional referral service. So there's only one industry seat. It's an exclusive seat. Whereas the chamber, there's a bunch of chambers around here too. And I have heard and I've experienced the Northport Chamber is the most fun and the most supportive. It is a little bit different in my experience because the chamber, you meet everybody. There's a ton of people from the same industry, but they're all friends,
Yeah.
and it's a community gathering, supporting. BNI, you get that exclusive seat.
Yeah.
And so if I have 23 chapter members, there are some that are 70 chapter members. And so if you get a weekly presentation of what you do, and then all 23 of those team members are out there listening. If someone wants natural health with the CBD, one other business that I'm in, I offer a health share. And so that streamlines along with the alternative health and wellness. So if somebody looks for that, and then the skincare, I'm scaling a skincare business too. I'm sure we'll talk about those
Yeah.
and your questioning, but it's really amazing that I have all these folks in my pocket listening out and I'm listening out for them. And it's fun because we get to log. If I give someone 5 referrals and I get to log it, and then I get recognition for achievement and being, we're big on our core value is more that you help support others and you'll gain that back. It's really a great network. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. And, I'm sure many of our longtime listeners, the Badass Crew, is not surprised to find out that you and I met because of BNI, because I'm also an active member and up in the St. Louis area. So this just goes to show, guys, that, if you're thinking about something like this, having something that is not only nationwide, but international, can really help you build and grow outside of your area, because Farrah and I would not have necessarily met if not for BNI, because we had the opportunity to be part of a power team together in the health and wellness sphere, from some of the work that I was doing before. So that gave us a lot of great opportunity to connect and see how we could help each other. And I was like, well, I can help you by getting you on my podcast. Come talk about your business, right? So
I
it's a
love
nice
that.
back and forth that we have there. So because you brought it up, you are, as part of your health and wellness business, then you are actually working in three different companies then to help people as much as you possibly can. So what's that like balancing, even though it's one health and wellness business, what's that like balancing three different companies and three different sets of products and services and all of that fun stuff?
Right. And I get that question pretty often. And it's very important to me because I live intentionally and the choices that I make, I've thought about. And, I really do keep to my why.
Mhm.
And I created a vision with a mission, and that helps me keep things streamlined. And
Nice.
so, it's not oh, here's something this week, or I'm sure that happens. You get exposed to all kinds of opportunities and you just can't throw yourself into everything. However, my vision is to offer healing, trust, and togetherness with a mission of providing services and products that are disruptive to the mainstream constructs that ail us. And so with Green Compass, that's the organic CBD functional mushrooms and the hemp seltzers, which are actually body healing, along with the blood type diet and the detoxing. I'm passionate about that. I
Mhm.
can help people feel better. With the other company, it's an umbrella of services direct to customer covering the US and Canada, one of which is a health share. So it's not insurance, but it's an option to insurance. And so can quote individuals, but here's the fun thing. I can go to small business owners. These are the folks who really get a lot of cost out of their pocket for high price insurance. I can go in and quote all of their employees, and it's been saving about 50% to where either the business owner starts paying for the healthcare options, or if they're not offering their employees any at all, it gives them a sigh of breath of fresh air. Like, I maybe can afford to offer this for them. Or if the employee wants to pay for it, they're saving so much money on the bottom line, they're giving them a raise.
Yeah.
um, and the esthetician in me is super duper excited about this opportunity. Um, I was contacted because there is a 10-year-old botanical skincare climate adjusting brand that is scaling into the US market. And being an esthetician and everything that happened with my storefront, I promoted a vegan skincare for 20 years. And so, but this is a different angle with the climate adjusting instead of skin type focus. Um, but starting February 17th through March 17th, it was the year of the horse is when we started. We're setting up foundational affiliate links. It's only $50 for an annual fee. And we're positioning anyone who wants to spas, med spas, estheticians, cosmetologists, tattoo parlors. Well, I like to say studios because I know a lot of artists. They don't like me calling it a parlor. Um,
Yeah.
but anyway, anyone in the skincare niche who wants to help move this into the US, I'm super excited. So the herein is another good thing about BNI. I am going to access my local, regional, national, and, global people that are direct warm market. And I'm going to really offer this great opportunity to help set other people up as a charter foundational affiliate. This is a really great opportunity, but I can access my warm market there, right there, giving me all the people to call. I'm
Exactly.
excited. Yeah.
Exactly. No, and I love that they do all seem to fit together because, there are some people out there who would say, "Oh, well, you can't run all three of these at the same time," blah, blah, blah. But it's how is this any different from somebody who runs a retail store like you were, for example, with your skincare business before, right? The esthetician business. You had a lot of different services that covered different things, and this really isn't that much different. It's just a matter of looking at the different verticals there to
Mhm.
say, okay, this set of products can help with this. This set of services can help with this. This set of products can help with this, right? It really gives the opportunity for you to, when you're introduced to somebody, find out what their biggest need is or what their biggest pain point may be in their health or health and wellness or insurance journey, right? Is really being able to help them in all those different areas. So I think that's absolutely phenomenal. And I feel like we could continue talking about this forever. I can't believe that so much time has already gone so quickly.
I
So,
know.
you know, I do also want to say, guys, to the badass crew, go back and listen to how Farrah introduced herself just a few minutes ago. She had such a wonderful way to talk about what she does as a full holistic person. And this is something that if you don't have an introductory statement about yourself, whether, you know, some people call it the elevator pitch or whatever, if you don't have something like that that gets people to go lean in and say, tell me more about that, Farrah. Like, how do you do that? How do you do that? Right. You had some really great wording about that. So I want to recommend that people go back and listen to what you had to say about yourself, because that is a fantastic way for people to pull something from this episode that's going to help them with their business moving forward. But
Well, thank you.
yeah, no, absolutely. It was, I have my transcription running on the side of Zoom here as we're recording this. And I remember looking at those words and I was like, that is so sexy. That is so good. Like,
Oh,
I had to call it out for you.
well, thank you. You know, Jenny, this season, and especially moving to Florida, it's a complete reset for myself and my children. And yeah, I'm building a brand of my earthly essentials, which is me. I'm coming as authentically as I can. I tell you why I'm here, but the My Earthly Essentials covers all of this, but I'm putting myself more on, television or on video, and
Hmm.
just putting myself out there authentically as the brand that, yeah, like you said, offers these things. And I was commissioned by Jimmy Young, who is a former sports broadcaster. I'm his weekly reporter for Cannabis Coast to Coast News out of Boston. I'm Florida reporter. I
That's
just started
amazing.
last week. Isn't that fun?
Oh my gosh, congratulations. That is so cool. I love
Thank
hearing
you.
that. Oh, that's
He likes
amazing.
my I think
Well,
so too. I said, sure. On LinkedIn, speaking of networking, it was the Jews and weed. They asked for Jews and friends to come. And so I am a cannabis, nurse, and I offer organic, and my collagen is kosher, which the
okay.
Jewish community really flocks to that because it's hard
Yeah.
for them to find good quality. And so Jimmy was on there and he said, I want you to be my Florida reporter. And so we've been practicing with the teleprompter and everything. And he's been so
Oh, wow.
excited about it, but it's just great opportunity to help heal the world.
Yeah.
So
I love that. And, you know, speaking of the cannabis and the CBD stuff, you actually have a wonderful opportunity or gift, I should say, for the badass crew who might be wanting to know more about some of the CBD things that you offer. So tell us a little bit about the free gift that you have for our badass crew if they would like to take you up on it.
absolutely. I have a CBG pain cream sample, and I will answer any questions about what CBG is. That's just one of 120 that can help you from this plant. But I am offering anyone who's interested, if you go to my website, myearthlyessentials.com, on the contact me page, it will send me an email. You can discreetly put your contact information and address, and I'll send you one.
I love it. So, and of course, Badass Crew, you guys know that if you want to take her up on this, all you have to do is go to the show notes and click on the website for the myearthlyessentials.com. It is linked there so you don't have to worry about spelling it right or are there any dashes or anything. Don't worry, guys. We got you. The link is in the show notes. And just in case this is your first time ever listening to Badass Direct Sales Mastery and you're like, show notes, what's that? So here's what you're going to do. As long as you're not driving, grab your phone, click on today's episode, and scroll under Farrah's picture. And there you will see all of the show notes, including her website link where you can connect to her and go fill out her contact form to say, hey, I would like to know more about the CBG sample, pain cream sample. And so she'll connect with you and get that sample to you as quickly as possible. So, Farrah, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your story here with the world.
Thank you, Jenny, for allowing me to do this and offering the platform. You're amazing.
Oh, well,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. Of course, of course. And I'd like to give you the opportunity if there's one last thing that you'd like to share with the badass crew, the listener right now who's listening and wanting to know more about health in general or how their health relates to their business, what would you like to share?
If your mind, body, and spirit is cleansed in a multitude of ways, then you can really focus on yourself and what makes your world the best world that you can live in for yourself, your family, your children. There's so many other facets than sometimes the way we're approached with blinders on. And so that's what I like to offer.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for being here, Farrah. I so appreciate you. And badass crew, of course, you guys want to stay tuned because there will be another badass episode on its way.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.